So in this video, we will solve Mathematics Paper 1, May-June 2017. It's the second variant of Paper 1. So let's start with question number 1. So you have to evaluate 4 over 5 minus 1 by 3. Since 5 and 3 do not have any common factors, their LCM will be simply 5 times 3, which is 15. And then you will multiply 4 by 3 and then minus, you'll multiply 1 by 5. So 5 times 1. So this will be equal to 12 minus 5 over 15, which will be equal to 7 over 15. Part B is evaluate 0.2 times 0.006. So I always convert them to fractions, which makes the multiplication much easier. So for 0.2, I will move the decimal one place to the right. So this becomes 2 over 10. And then multiply by, so one place to three places to the right, the decimal will move. So this will become 6 over 10, 100, 1000 here. So this becomes 12 over 1000 times 10 would be 10,000. So you have 4 zeros. So that means your decimal from here will move 4 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will add 2 zeros here and you will get 0.0012. So your answer would be 0.0012. Question 2 is shade one more small triangle in the shape below to make a pattern with one line of symmetry. So since we have to shade one small triangle, that means our line of symmetry has to pass through the center of one of these shaded triangles. So it has to be something like this, which splits this one triangle in half so that I don't have to shade any region for this triangle because it's one half. The mirror image of that half is already there in the other half on the other side of the line of symmetry. So it has to split, the line of symmetry has to split one of these triangles in half. So let me show you what I mean by that. So for example, if you decide to draw, let's say this, you assume that this is your line of symmetry. So to make this line of symmetry, you will have to have the mirror image on the other side. So if this triangle is shaded here, I'll have to shade this one. And if this is shaded here, I'll have to shade this one. So I'll have to shade two triangles in that case, which is not possible since we are only required, the question asks to shade one triangle. Another line of symmetry could be this one, which also does not pass through any of these triangles. So for this, I'll have to shade this here. And for this, I'll have to shade this one here. So I'll have a complete mirror image on both sides. And if I fold over here, this half will completely overlap this half. But then again, in this case, I have to shade two triangles. So since I can only shade one, my line of symmetry must split one of these shaded triangles so that it already has the other half shaded and I don't have to shade, I only have to shade for the other one triangle that is left. So let's see how we can split. So if we try to split this triangle in half, my line of symmetry would be somewhat like this. Let me draw this again so that it passes through the center here. So let's say like this, somewhat like this, still not passing through the center. Let me try one more time. So yeah, this is better. So this line of symmetry, if I try to make this the line of symmetry, this splits this triangle in half. But if you look at the overall shape, it's not passing through the half. It's a little bit towards the left side, right? So I have to make sure that I am at the center of the overall shape as well. So no matter how you try to split this triangle, this will not split the overall shape in half. Or if I try to draw like this, then again, it's not splitting the overall shape in half. So let's try the other triangle now. So if I try to split this triangle in half, again, this is not splitting the overall diagram in half. And then if I try to split it this way in half, again, it's splitting this triangle in half, but not the overall shape. So my last one would be like this. So this will split this triangle in half. And this is also kind of passing through the center of the overall shape. Let me in fact draw a straight line here. So let's see, not this. Let's erase this. And let me draw straight line through the center and through here. So now if you look at this line here, it splits it splits this triangle in half. So I don't have to worry about this half, because if this half is shaded on this side of line of symmetry, I have this half that is also shaded. So I have a mirror image on both sides. But for this triangle, I need to shade this triangle so that I have a mirror image. So now if I fold the two halves like this, I will have a complete overlap, right? And so this line of symmetry. It's this half has a complete mirror image on this side. This shaded triangle is represented by this shaded triangle. The mirror image is this one. And for this half, the mirror image is the other half of this shaded triangle. So this way, I only have to shade one triangle and I get this as my line of symmetry. Part B is shade two more small triangles in the shape below to make a pattern with rotational symmetry of order 2. So since the rotational symmetry order is 2, that means if you divide 360 degrees by your order, which is 2, you get 180 degrees. That means the pattern repeats after every 180 degrees. So let me bring this diagram here. So this is the same diagram as the original one in the question. Now I will rotate it 180 degrees. So if I rotate 180 degrees, you can rotate your question paper to rotate the actual diagram. Same way I'm doing here. So after 180-degree rotation, I have this pattern now. So since uh, the rotational symmetry order will be 2 after I shade two more triangles, that means this pattern should be present in the original diagram as well, because this is how it looks after 180 degrees. So you rotate it 180 degrees and make sure that the triangles shaded after the rotation are also shaded in the original shape. So you have this triangle, which is kind of in the middle one, and then one above this. So if I look in my original diagram, this is the corresponding triangle. So this one is this one here. So I will shade this one because it's shaded after in the diagram after I rotated it 180 degrees. And then the other one is this top right one, which is this one here. So I will shade this here as well. And then after shading, it's always a good idea to double check as well to make sure you have shaded the correct ones. So let me bring it back to 0 degrees, and then I will shade so I shaded this one, I'll shade this one, and then I shaded this one on the top. So now this is the same. And now we can confirm that this has indeed rotational symmetry order 2. That means it will repeat after 180 degrees. So I have this shape as original here as well. And then if I rotate it 180 degrees, it will look exactly the same. So if I compare these two after 180 degrees, they are exactly the same. I have these two shaded, I have these two shaded here, and then these two on the top right, these two on the top right as well. And then another 180 degrees will bring me back to 0 degrees, which is the original orientation. So again, the pattern repeats. So it repeated 2 times during a full 360-degree rotation. That means it has rotational symmetry of order 2. So by writing each number correct to one significant figure, estimate the value of this. So since we have to write it to till one significant figure, so the first non-zero number is this. So this will be our first significant figure for 58.7. So since we are writing for up till just the first number here, so the next number is 8, which is greater than equal to 5. So we will round up 5 to 6, and the rest of them becomes 0, 60. And then this is our first significant figure here. The next number is 0, so we round it down to 4. And then first significant figure here is 1. The next number is 9, which is greater than equal to 2. So this becomes 2 and then 0, 20, cube. So you have 3 here. So 60 times 4 will give you 240, and 20 cube would be 3 zeros, and 2 twos are 4, 4 twos are 8. So 8 here. So now zeros cancel out. I can divide by 8 here. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 1 is 8, and then 0, 0. So this is 3 over 100. 3 by 100. Question number 4 is a group of students were asked if they wanted a later start to the school day. The pie chart summarizes the results. 200 students said no. Work out the number of students who said yes. So no is 80 degrees. So since in a pie chart you have full 360 degrees, so this will be equal to, this angle here will be 360 minus 80, which is 280 degrees. So now you can see that 80 degrees, 80 degrees, let me write it neatly here. So 80 degrees is equals to how many students? 200 students said no, 200. So we need to find how many students are in 280 degrees, which is, let's call it x. So now we cross multiply since these are directly proportional. As you increase the degree, the number of students should increase in the pie chart as well. So 80 times x equals to, so you cross multiply here and then cross multiply here, 280 times 200, and then x would be equal to 280 times 200 divided by 80. Zeros cancel out. 4 twos are 8. 4 times 5 is 20. 2 ones are 2. 2 ones are 2. 4 0. So 140 times 5. So you have to calculate 140 times 5 is 5 fours are 20. 2 carry 5 under 5 700. So 700 is your answer. So here x equals to 700. So 700 students said yes. So question number 5 is the diagram shows the position of two villages A and B. Measure the bearing of B from A. So B from A would be this angle here. So let me quickly bring my protractor and other geometric tools. I think I only need a protractor for this. So let me bring that. So here I have my protractor here. So to measure the angle, the bearing of B from A, which is this angle, I'll place my, so your zero is always the north. So my zero would be this 180 marked on this protractor in this case. So I'll place it here exactly at zero. So my 90 would be here, and then plus 10, 100, 110, 120, 130, 135, and then 136 and 137. So my angle, this angle here up till this point will be 137, which is my bearing for B from A. So this would be 137. So the next part is the bearing of village C from A is 265. So this we know would be the 180 bearing from A all the way if I stretch this straight line. And this bearing would be at 270. So I'm basically just making the four quadrants here. So if we start here, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270. So since it's 265, so C would be somewhere below here. So it will be not this much. Let me draw this again. So just a little bit below our 270 line. So this angle here is 265 bearing of C from A. So if this is the north line for C, we have to work out the bearing of A from C. So the bearing of A from C is this angle, right? So I know that this angle is 265. So let me mark this angle here in red. So my angle in red would be, let's call it x. So my angle x plus 265 equals to 360. So x would be 360 minus 265, which is 95 degrees. So this is 95, and your bearing of A from C, let's call it Y. So since these two are parallel lines, this is also north, right? And these are interior angles, and we know that the sum of interior angles of two parallel lines is 180. So your x plus y should equal 180, and we know our value of x is 95, so y equals to 180 minus 95. So 180 minus 95 would be, I take the carry, so this becomes 10, this becomes 8, 17, this becomes 0. So this is 17. So 17 minus, so 10 minus 5 would be 5, and 17 minus 9 would be 8. So your this is 85 degrees, but you write it as a bearing as 085. So this will be your bearing of A from C, which is this angle here, which is represented by Y. So this will be your answer. So question number 6 is, thermometer measures the temperature correct to the nearest degree. The outside temperature is measured as minus 8 degrees Celsius. Write the upper bound of the outside temperature. So since you are measuring it to the nearest degree, that means your error would be, so your accuracy is, so degree of accuracy is 1 degrees. So 1 over 2, which is 0.5. Now, since you have to find the upper bound of the outside temperature, you will add the error value to the measured temperature. So your upper bound would be equals to the measured value, which is minus 8, plus the error, which is zero point 0.5. So you get minus 7.5. So this will be minus 7.5. So part B is, the inside temperature is measured as 10 degrees Celsius. Calculate the lower bound of the difference between the outside temperature and the inside temperature. So let me represent these on the number line. So if this is your number line here, if this is 0 and the inside temperature is 10, which will be somewhere here, and the outside temperature is minus 8, which will be somewhat here. So this is the difference between the inside and the outside temperature. So you have to find the lower bound, the minimum value of this temperature. So how can we find the minimum value if we have the lower bound? So this is 10 is inside and minus 8 is outside. So if I have to minimize this gap, minimize this difference, I need this lower bound of 10 and the upper bound of minus 8. That will be minus 7.5, since our error is zero point 0.5 and we found the upper bound of outside temperature minus 7.5. So this will be minus 7.5, and the lower bound will be for 10 will be 9.5. That means this will be the smallest possible difference between the inside and outside temperature. So lower bound difference is equals to the lower bound inside, lower bound of inside minus the upper bound of outside. So this is 9.5. Our error is zero point 0.5. Our measured value is 10. So lower bound would be 10 minus 0.5, which is 9.5, minus the upper bound of this is minus 7.5. So this becomes minus 7.5. So this is actually equals to 9.5 plus 7.5, which is equals to 17. So our lower bound of the difference is 17 degrees Celsius. So you actually try to minimize this gap. So you can minimize this gap by getting the lower bound for the max value and getting the upper bound for the min value. So your difference is minimum, as small as possible, which is the lower bound. So let's move on to question number 7. Part A is, use set notation to describe the shaded set in the Venn diagram below. So this is the Venn diagram. So this area is shaded here, and we can clearly see that this area is outside of this set B. So we are clearly looking at B complement, which is everything outside of B. So let me mark B complement on my Venn diagram. So this blue represents B complement, which is everything outside of the set B. But our shaded region is only the part that is also the part of set A. So let me mark set A. So this whole thing is set A, including this region here. But our shaded region is only this one. So this is actually an overlap between the blue region and the red region. So the only the overlap of the blue and the red is shaded. So that means we have an intersection. So that means we have A intersection B complement, which means the overlapping region of B complement, which is represented by blue here. Everything blue is B complement. And then intersection with A, which is red here. So the overlapping region is the one that is shaded gray in the question. So your answer here will be A intersection B complement. But you might think that you could also be a union. So why cannot this be a union? Because for a union, so let's say if this was B complement, and if I do A union B complement, that means I have to include all the region that is part of A and all the region that is part of B complement. So you will include everything that is blue and everything that is red, which means all this green region, including this one and then this one. So basically, union means you include everything in the two sets. So including everything would include this whole B complement as well as whole of A, which is not the case. We are only looking at the overlap of B complement, the blue region, and the red region, which is A. So that gives you the intersection. So the overlap region is given by the intersection, and we are looking at the intersection of A and B complement. So your answer should be A intersection B complement. Use set notation to complete the statement about sets C and D. So C is a subset of D. And as you can see that there are some values. So in this region, there are values that are part of D which are not part of C. So C is actually a proper subset of D. So I will write this as this. Remember that uh, the proper subset definition is if C is a proper subset of D, which is represented by this symbol, that means all the values of C are part of D, and there are some values that are in D, which is represented by this region, which are not part of C. So this is a C is a proper subset of D here. Question 8 is a film starts at 22:35 and finishes at 1:20. How long in hours and minutes does the film last? So your duration of film would be equal to the end time minus the start time. So your end time is 0, 1, 20 minus your start time is 22:35. But this end time here is the on the next day, since you've gone past 12 o'clock at midnight. So you can add 24 hours to this. So I will add 24 hours to this. So I will get 25:20 minus 22:35. Now I can solve this subtraction to get the duration of the film. So I will take carry from here. So this will be left as 24 hours, and I will add 60 minutes to these 20 minutes. I will get 80. So 10 minus 5 is 5. This is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. So this is 45. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So the film lasts 2 hours and 45 minutes. Part B is on 1st May, Laila starts to go swimming every day. She swims 30 lengths of the swimming pool every day, and the swimming pool is 20 meters long. Work out the date when Laila has swum a total of 10 kilometers. So let's see distance uh, for one day that she swims. So distance for one day would be equals to 30 lengths. She does 30 lengths and each length is 20 meters. So 30 into 20, you get 600 meters. So you have to find if she does 600 meters each day, how many days will it take for 10,000 meters? So days to get to 10,000 meters. I'm representing this 10 kilometers in meters would be equals to 10,000 divided by 600. So zeros cancel out. So I have to divide 100 by 6. So let's see. 6 times 1 is 6. I get 4 and then bring it down 40. 6 times 6 is 36. And this will be again 40. I can add a decimal here, 0, 40. So this will continue to be 16.6666 continues to do that. So that means on the 17th day, I'll have to round it up because uh, it's asking for the date she crosses the 10,000 meter mark. So that will be sometime on the 17th day because your answer is 16.66. And let's see if she does 600 meters each day, after 16 days, she will have 600 into 16, right? So let me multiply 16 by 6. 6 6 are 36. 3 carries, 6 1s are 6 and then 96. So I will get 9600. So at the end of the 16th day, she would have done 9600 meters. And then she does another 600 meters on the 17th day. So at the end of the 17th day, she would have done 9600 plus 600 equals to 10,200. So she crossed the 10,000 meter mark on the 17th day, right? So her first day was 1st May. So her 17th day would be on 17th May. 17th May here. Question 9 is write down all the integers that satisfy the inequality. So minus 3 by 2 greater than equal to x. So I can write minus 3 by 2 as a decimal, which is minus 1.5. Then greater than equal to x greater than 2. So if I draw the number line here, so I have minus 1.5, 1, and then 0 here, then 1 here, and then 2 here. So x is greater than equal to minus 1.5 and less than 2. So, oops, let me draw this again here. So x goes on from here till here. So minus 1.5 is included, but 2 is not included. So what are the integers between these minus 1.5 and 2? So you have 1, 0, and 1. These are the only integer values that satisfy this inequality. So minus 1, 0, and 1. So complete the following inequality with the fraction. So let's draw the number line again. So you have 0 here, then 1 by 2 here, and then 3 by 4 here, and then 1, and then so on. So you have to find a complete the following inequality with a fraction. So you have to find a fraction somewhere here in between 1 by 2 and 3 by 4. So the easiest way to do this would be find the middle value. So how do you find the middle value? You add the 2 and divide it. After adding the 2, you divide the sum by 2 to get the middle value. Similar to how, like, if you find the mid, if you want to find the mid value of 1 and 2, you do 1 plus 2 divided by 2, which is equals to 3 divided by 2, which is equals to 1.5, which is exactly in the middle between 1 and 2. So to find the mid value, you do 1 over 2 plus 3 by 4, then whole divided by 2. The LCM of 2 and 4 would be 4, and then you will multiply by 2 in the numerator here, so you get 2. You don't multiply anything here because LCM is 4, the denominator was already 4, so 2 plus 3, and then whole divided by 2, so you get 5 by 4 whole divided by 2, which is basically writing 5 by 4 divided by 2 or equals to 5 by 4 into 1 over 2. I take the reciprocal, which is equals to 5 over 8. So you can write 5 by 8 here. Part C is write down an irrational value of n that satisfies this inequality. So irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be represented as fraction, and usually these are square. You can write square roots which are not whole numbers are usually irrational. So since you have 2 greater than n less than 3, so what's the square of 2, which is 4, and what's the square of 9? Oh, sorry, 3 is 9. So any number between 4 and 9, if you take a square root, it should be, the value should be somewhere between 2 and 3, because the boundaries, you have already taken the squares, the boundaries are 4 and 9. So I can take any number, let's say a square root of 5, which will be the correct answer, which is 2 point something, and which cannot be represented as a fraction. So square root of 5 is an irrational number, and it is between 2 and 3, because square root of 4 is 2 and square root of 9 is 3. So any number between, any square root that you take between 4 and 9, square root of 5, 6, or 7, or 8, it should be between, the value should be between 2 and 3. Question 10 is, here are the masses in grams of 8 apples. Find the median mass. So first of all, you will sort them in ascending order from smallest to largest. So your smallest value here is 161. Then you have 174, 175. Then you have 185, 189. Then you have 192, 196, and then 202. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I wrote all 8. So since you have 8 apples, so your mid is 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So your median would be fourth plus fourth value plus the fifth value, and then divide by 2. So what's your fourth value? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth value is 185, and then fifth value is 189 divided by 2. So if you add them together, you get 180 plus 180 is 360, 365, 374. 374 divided by 2, which will be 2 ones are 2, 117, 2 eights are 16, 114, 1. So 187 gram is your median value. A bag contains 5 carrots. The mean mass of the carrots is 60 gram. Another carrot is added to the bag. The mean mass of the 6 carrots is 65 gram. Work out the mass of the carrot added to the bag. So you have a mass. So you know the mean of the original 5 carrots. So mean of 5 carrots equals to sum of 5 masses divided by 5. So the mean is 60, and then equals to sum of 5 masses over 5, and this gives you sum of 5 masses, the original 5 carrots that were in the bag, 60 into 5, 300 gram. Now you add a 6th carrot and the mean changes to 65 grams. So now mean of 6 carrots, mean mass of 6 carrots, mean mass of 6 carrots equals to the sum of the 5 masses, sum of 5 masses. So these are the 5 original carrots, the sum of their masses that was already that were already in the bag, plus mass of 6th carrot. That's how you'll calculate the mean, right? All sum of the masses of all 6 carrots, and then divided by 6. Now you're given that after you add the 6th carrot, the mean is 65. So this is 65, and you know that the sum of the masses of the first 5 carrots was 300 gram, 300 gram plus the mass of 6th carrot. So mass of 6th carrot, and this is divided by 6, whole divided by 6. So this I can solve to get the mass of sixth carat would be equals to 65 times 6 and then minus 300. So 65 times 6 would be 360 plus 30, 390. So this is 390 minus 300. So mass of the sixth carat that you added is 90 grams. So this will be 90. So let's move on to question number 11. So we have two equations, 5x minus 2y equals to 16 and 3x plus 4y equals to 7. You have to solve them. So I can use the elimination method here. So if this is my equation 1, this is equation 2. If I multiply the first equation by 2, I get 10x minus 4y equals to 16. And then I write this 3x plus 4y equals to 7. So I already have opposite signs for y. So let's add the two equations. 10x plus 3x would give me 13x. These would cancel out. And 16 plus 17 would be 16 plus 17. Oh, sorry. This would be actually 32 because I'm multiplying by uh, 2 for I'm multiplying the first equation by 2. So I get 10x minus 4y equals to 32. So 32 plus 7 would give me 39 and then x would be equals to 3. Now I can substitute the x value. Let's substitute it into the second equation here. So 3 into x is 3 plus 4y equals to 7 plus 4y equals to 7. So this is 9 plus 4y equals to 7. Y, I take 9 to the other side, I get 4y equals to 7 minus 9 is minus 2. And then you get y equals to minus 2 over 4, which is equals to minus 0.5. So your x value is 3 and y value is minus 0.5. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 12 is, so y is inversely proportional to the square of x. So that means y equals to, so sorry, y is directly proportional to 1 over x square, or y is equals to some constant k over x square. The table shows some values of x and y. So you have x and y values. Find the equation connecting x and y. So equation is this, y equals to k over x square, but you have to find the value of k. So I can use any pair of values that I know from the table. So I can use this. I want to avoid this fraction here. So y is 3. So 3 equals to k over x is 2, 2 squared. So 2 squared is 4 and 4 times 3 is 12. So this gives me k equals to 12. So the equation would be y equals to k over x squared. So k is 12. So y equals to 12 over x squared. Find the value of p. So this is x is p here. So I can write this equation as, so I know the equation is y equals to 12 over x squared. Then I can substitute the values. Y is 48. So 48 equals to 12 over x is p, p squared. So if I take p to the other side and bring 48 down, this gives me p squared equals to 12 over 48, which is equals to 1 over 4. And then this gives me p equals to square root of 1 over 4, which is plus minus 1 over 2. So I can write it as plus minus 1 over 2. Question number 13 is, Rani has $240. She spends 5 over 8 of this on the new phone. Work out the cost of the phone. So the cost of the phone is 5 by 8 of this $240. So cost would be equals to 5 by 8 times 240. So 8 times 1, 8 threes are 24 and 0. So this will give me 150. So the cost of the phone is $150. Part B is, Anna invests $150 in an account that pays simple interest. She leaves the money in the account for 4 years At the end of the 4 years, she has $160. Work out the rate of the simple interest paid per year. So if she started with 150 and she after 4 years she had 162, so the interest would be the amount she gained, which is 162 minus 150, which is $12. And you know that the formula for simple interest is PRT over 100, where P is principal, R is rate that we need to calculate, and T is time. So we know that interest is 12, principal amount that she invested was 150, rate is unknown, that's what we need to find. Time is 4 years, so 4 years and then over 100, and then we can solve for R. I can actually simplify this here. Uh, this is 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15. So 12 equals to 3 times 4 would be 12 R over 2. So 12 and 12 cancel out, and then R is 2. So your rate is 2%. Question number 14 is f of x is given by 3x minus k over 4. Given that f of 11 is equals to 7, find the value of k. So to find f of 11, I simply substitute x with 11. So f of 11 would be 3 times 11 minus k over 4, and you know the value is 7. So this is equals to 7 equals to 33 minus k over 4. I'll continue here. I'll take 4 to the other side, so you get 28 equals to 33 minus k. I bring k on this side and 28 on this side, so k equals to 33 minus 28, which is equals to 5. So 5. Part B is find f inverse of x. So let y equals to f of x. This gives you, if I take f on the other side, f inverse of y equals to x. So if y equals to f of x, I can write 3x minus k over 4, and then I can make x the subject of the formula. So take 4 to the other side. 4y equals to 3x minus k. I can substitute the value of k, in fact. So 3x minus 5. And then 3x equals to 4y plus 5. And then x equals to 4y plus 5 over 3. So I know that f is f inverse of y. So f inverse of y equals to 4y plus 5 over 3. And then I can substitute x instead of y. So f inverse of x would be 4x plus 5 over 3. Let me write it a little cleanly here. So this would be 3. So your f inverse of x is 4x plus 5 over 3. So question number 15 is the diagram shows triangles A and B. Part A is describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So you have to find the transformation that makes this triangle go from A to B. So if you look at this triangle B, so if this is not a translation, because you can see that the orientation has changed. During translation, you can only move the triangle. The orientation remains the same. So let's look at if this is a rotation. So if this was a 90-degree rotation like this triangle would look something. So if I rotate this 90-degree downwards, it will drop down like this, and then I'll have the shorter side on the top and then the longer side on the bottom here. So the 90-degree rotation would look something like this. But if you look at this triangle, the shorter side is at the bottom and the longer side is on the top. So they are flipped. So it's like a mirror image. So that means it is a reflection around some line. So we can see from this that it's a reflection. Now we have to find what's the center of what's the line around which this triangle was reflected from A to B. So to find the reflection, what we do is we can look at the vertices here. So let's call this point P, Q, and R. So coordinates of P are 2 and 1. Coordinates of Q are 5 and 1. So I only need 2 points to find the equation for the line around which this triangle A is reflected. So the corresponding point, so for P, which is the longer edge here, which is this one, so this would be your P1 after the reflection. So P is reflected onto P1 here, and the coordinates are -1 and -2, and Q is this point. This is Q1. So, or sorry, yeah, Q1. So Q is reflected on, and it becomes Q1. So the coordinates of Q1 are -1. So let me just write it again. So this is -1 and -5. So now to find the line around which it is reflected, I can, if I find the midpoint of P and P1, and if I find the midpoint of Q and Q1, both will lie on that line around which this triangle is uh, reflected. So let's call that line of reflection. So let's find the midpoint of P and P1. So mid of P, P1 would be, you simply add the x coordinates, which is 2 and -1. So 2 plus -1 and divide by 2 to get the midpoint, to get the mid x coordinate. Then you find the mid y coordinate as well. So y here is 1, here is -2. So you get 1 plus -2 divided by 2. So this is 2 minus 1, which will be 1 by 2. So your x coordinate is 1 by 2, and your y coordinate is 1 minus 2, which is -1. So -1 over 2. So minus half would be right here in the middle. So this is one point that lies on the line of reflection. So let's find the midpoint of Q and Q1. So midpoint of Q1. Again, we add the x coordinates 5 and -1, and then divide by 2 to get the mid value, mid x coordinate. And then for the mid y coordinate, I will add the y coordinates 1 and -5. So 1 plus -5 whole divided by 2. So this will be 5 minus 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 1 minus 5 is -4, -4 divided by 2 is -2. So another point on your line of reflection is this point, which is 2 and -2, and this was minus zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.5. And from these points, you can see clearly, sorry, this was positive zero point 0.5. Let me write this again, this is wrong. So this was positive zero point 0.5 and negative zero point 0.5. So you can clearly see that the x value and the y value, the only difference is the negative sign. So you can immediately say that the equation of the line that passes through these points is y equals to minus x, because y value is negative of the x value. So if it's not clear from these 2 points, you can actually use the formal method to calculate the equation of this line. So let's do that as well. So the gradient would be equals to, let's find the gradient, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let me say this is y2 and x2. So -2, this is y2, and then minus y1, which would be minus 0.5, and divided by x2 is 2, minus x1 is 0.5. So you will get here -2 plus 0.5 over 2 minus 0.5. So this would be minus 1.5 over 1.5, which is equals to -1. So your gradient is -1. And so your equation for the line y equals to mx plus c would be y equals to minus x plus c. And then I can use these pair of points to find the value of c, which is the y-intercept. So let's substitute these x, y values in this equation. X value is 2, y value is -2. So y value is -2, and x value is +2. So minus +2 here plus c. So this gives you, this becomes -2, and then I take it to this side, to the other side. this becomes minus 2 plus 2 equals to c. So c equals to 0. So c here is 0. So your final equation of the line is y equals to minus x. So this is reflection across the line y equals to minus x. This is your transformation, which transforms this triangle A to triangle B. Part B is triangle A is mapped onto triangle C by rotation of 90-degree anti-clockwise about the origin. On the diagram, draw the triangle C. So let me just erase the stuff that was for the previous part. So now you have to rotate this triangle A 90-degree around this point, which is the origin. So this is your center of rotation. Let me call this O. So how do you do the rotation? First, you connect your points to the center of rotation. So let me connect these points P and R with my center of rotation O. So that will be represented by this dotted line here. So this line OP and then this line OR. So let's call triangle C after rotation. Triangle C is P1, Q1, and R1. So when P is rotated 90 degrees through this center, it will end up at P1. So after my rotation, the distance of point P, so this length OP should equal OP1. We are only rotating it 90 degrees, so the distance from the center always remains the same. Similarly, uh, OR, let me write it here. So OR will be, the length should be equals to OR1. So let me first mark a point that is at 90 degrees. So how do you do the rotation? You place your protector at the center, and then you have to place the 0 mark on the line that is connecting the point. So my 0 is this. This is the line on which both P and R lie. So let me just do it. Yeah, here. So this is my 0-degree line. And then after I rotate this 90 degree, I will end up somewhere here. So this is my 90-degree rotation here. So this gives you the direction in which these points will move. And then what you can do is you can measure this distance OP. So let's measure OP here. So OP is 2.6 centimeters. So 2.6 centimeters. Both OP and OP1 should be 2.6 centimeters. And then OR is almost, let's see, 5.4 centimeter here. So my length OR is 5.4 centimeter, and it should also equal the length of OR1. So now what I can do is I can rotate my ruler here. So now I know that my point P1 is 90 degrees, which is, let me make sure I have the correct orientation of my ruler here. Yeah. So my point is at 90 degrees, which is this line. And how far is it from the origin or from the center of rotation? The same distance, which is 2.6 centimeters. So let me place my ruler here at 2.6 centimeters. So it's 2.6 here, which is, so 0 is at this point. So at this point, at this is x-axis, it's 1, and on y-axis, it's 2. This point P1 will be mapped here, and the distance is exactly 2.6 centimeter from the center of rotation. So let me mark this point here as P1. So this is my point P1. Similarly, for R1, we know that the distance should be 5.4 centimeters. So let's place my ruler here at 5.4, and this actually turns out to be this point here. So remember, I always have to look in this orientation, the 90-degree angle that I marked. So all the distances should be at at a 90-degree angle. So this angle here I marked was 90-degree using my protractor. So this is 0 and this is 5.4 centimeter. So this length right now is 5.4. So my point R actually, R1, sorry, lies exactly here at this point. So this is R1. And similarly, we can join this point Q from this origin here. So let me do this, and then let me join this point as well. So this point here joins this line here, sorry, joins the point Q to my center of rotation. And then again, I have to rotate it 90 degrees. So let me place my protractor at the center here again. And then now my 0-degree angle is here, which is the line connecting point Q with the center of rotation. And then my 90 degrees is right here. So let me mark this point here as my 90-degree now. And then I can measure the length of point Q from my center, which is almost 6.1 centimeter. So my OQ, which should also equal to OQ1, is 6.1 centimeter. 6.1 centimeter. So now I will reorient my ruler to this 90-degree line here, like this. And then I have to go up till 6.1 centimeters. So this is 6.1. So this is my point here at -1 and 5 on the y-axis. So my point Q is this one here. So I can move my ruler away, and this would be my point Q1. So now I can draw my triangle. So this triangle here, P1, Q1, and R1 are the three vertices. P1 is at -1 and 2, R1 is at -2 and 4, and this Q1 point is at -1 and 5. So that's how you will do this 90-degree rotation. So this would be my triangle C after the 90-degree rotation around this point. The center of rotation is at origin. Question 16 is a point, A is the point 0, 3, and B is the point 1, 5, and C is the point P minus 1. Find the equation of the line AB. So first we need to find the gradient of the line. So M gradient would be, so let's call this x1 and y1, and let's call this x2 and y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is my gradient. So that will be 5 minus 3 over 1 minus 0, 1 minus 0. So your gradient will be 2. So your equation for AB is y is equals to mx plus c, your standard equation. And then I can replace m with 2, 2x plus c. And then to find this constant c, we can use either the values, either this, substitute this xy value in the equation or this xy value in the equation, since both points lie on the line. I'll use this. So my x value is 0 and y value is 3. So I substitute y with 3 and x with 0 and plus c. So 2 times 0 is 0. So c equals to 3. So then I can substitute c here, and then I get y equals to 2x plus 3. So this is my equation, y equals to 2x plus 3. Part B is the gradient of the line BC is -3/4. Find the value of P. So point B is 1, 5, and then point C is P and -1. So your gradient is given as -3/4. So you know that gradient equals to, let's call this point x1 and y1, and this one as x2 and y2. So your gradient would be y2 minus y1, which is -1 minus 5 over x2 minus x1, which is p minus 1. And you're given that this value gradient is -3/4. So -3/4 equals to -1 minus 5 is -6, and then over p minus 1, p minus 1. So I cross multiply here and then here. So I get minus 3 times p minus 1 equals to minus 6 into 4. So this is minus 3p minus 3 equals to 6 times 4 minus 24. So I take 3 to the other side. Let me continue up there. So minus 3p, and then I take 3 to the other side. I get minus 24 plus 3. In fact, sorry, this is plus 3 here, because this minus becomes positive. So this is plus 3, and this plus 3 goes to the other side, and this becomes negative 3. So this is negative 3. So minus 3p equals to minus 27. Minus cancel out. 3p equals to 27. And p equals to 27 divided by 3 is 9. So your value of p would be 9. So let me just erase these. So question number 17 here is, in the diagram, P, Q, R, S, T lie on the circle. So P, Q, R, S, T lie on the circumference of the circle. QT is the diameter. So QT, this line here, is the diameter of the circle. X is the point of intersection of PS and XT. So this is the point of intersection. One angle PXT is given as 125 degrees and PSQ is given as 35 degrees. Complete the following statement with the geometrical reason. PTQ, so angle PTQ, so this here is equals to 35 degrees because, so if you look at this angle PTQ, PTQ, it's in the same segment as this angle PSQ. So they're subtended by this same arc. So we can say that these two angles will be equal because the angles are in the same segment, because angles, sorry, let me write it more clearly. Complete the following statement with a geometrical reason. PTQ is equals to 35 degree because it is in the same segment as angle PSQ, as angle PSQ. So both angles PTQ and PSQ are equal. Part B is find angle PQT. So PQT is this angle right here. So to find this angle PQT, if you look at this triangle PQT, this angle here at P would be 90 degrees because it's an angle in a semicircle. This line here is a diameter and it's making this angle at the circumference, and we know this property that the angle in this semicircle is the 90-degree angle. So now you can use the property of triangles where the sum of angles is 180 degrees. So 35 plus 90 plus angle PQT should be 180. So 35 degree plus 90 degree plus angle PQT should be equals to 180. 90 plus 35 is 125. So angle PQT is equals to 180 minus 125, which is equals to 55 degrees. So your angle PQT is 55 degrees. So this is 55 degrees. And it's a good habit to just keep marking the angles that you have calculated, because sometimes these values are used in the next part. So you know that what angles you have already calculated and are known, so you can use them. Part C is find angle SPQ. So SPQ is this angle SPQ. So let me just erase this a little bit. So you have to find this angle here. So if you look at the triangle PXQ, I know this angle here at Q is 55 degree for this triangle. I can easily calculate this angle because I know that this is a straight line and this is 125 degrees. So this would be 180 minus 125. So if I calculate this, then I can use the sum of the interior angles of a triangle to 180 degree. I can use that property to find the value of angle SPQ. So let's first find the angle PXQ. So angle PXQ plus 125 should equals to 180 degrees. So this gives you PXQ as 180 minus 125, which is 55 degrees. So this angle here is 55. So then my angle SPQ plus this 55 plus this 55 plus 55 plus 55 should equal to 180 degree because they are three angles of a triangle and the sum should be 180. So 55 plus 55 is 110, and then I can take this 110 to the other side. So this becomes SPQ equals to 180 minus 110, which is 70 degrees. So your angle SPQ would be 70 degrees. So let's move on to the part D is find angle SRQ. So SRQ is SRQ, this angle right here. So this you have to find this angle. Let me erase this and mark this angle because I've already calculated this as 70 degree. So now if you look at this quadrilateral, let me erase this. So if you look at this quadrilateral marked in red here, so this line here and then this line here, this one and this one. So this triangle this quadrilateral PQRS, this is a cyclic quadrilateral because all four vertices are on the circumference of this circle. So we know the property that the sum of the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral is equals to 180 degrees. So since we have calculated this value in the previous part, and see, this is why it's a good idea to mark the values on the diagram that we have calculated, because I can see easily that this is a cyclic quadrilateral and I found this value in the previous part. So sum of this plus this angle should be equal to 180 degrees. So SRQ plus 70 should equal 180 degree. So your angle SRQ would be 180 minus 70, which is 110 degrees. So this would be 110 degrees. So question 18 is the diagram is the speed time graph for 25 seconds of a car's journey. So you started with speed v, then you decrease it to speed 12 meter per second after 15 seconds, and then the speed is constant at 12 meter per second. The car slows down uniformly from a speed of v to 12 meter per second in 15 seconds. It then travels at a constant speed for a further 10 seconds. The retardation of the car is 0.4 meter per second square. Calculate the value of v. So you know that your retardation is given by the gradient of the speed time graph. So we can calculate the gradient using this point here. So this point here is at 0 and v, 0 and v, and this point here is at 15 and 12. So your retardation here is given by your change in speed, which is v minus 12. So you initial speed was v and then you decrease it to 12. And how much time did you take? Change in time is 15 minus 0, 15 seconds. And you know that retardation given here is 0.4. So 0.4 equals to v minus 12 over 15. So from this, let me continue up here. So V minus 12 would be equal to 15 into 0.4. And then V would be equals to 15 times 4 is 60. So this would be one decimal place. So this would be 6. And then I take the 12 to the other side plus 12. So V equals to 18. So your answer is 18. Calculate the distance traveled by the car from t equals to 0 till t equals to 25. So we can divide this graph into two sections. This first one here in blue is a trapezium. I can find the area because you know that the area under the speed time graph is your distance. So this will be your area from 0 to 15, and then I can find the area of this rectangle here to get the distance traveled from 15 till 25 seconds. And if I add them both, I will get the total distance traveled from t equals to 0 till t equals to 25. So distance here would be area of this trapezium here plus the area of rectangle. So area of trapezium is 1 over 2 into your height here is this one, which is from here, sorry, this is 15, and then sum of parallel sides. So one side, this is 12. So 12 plus the other side, the length of the other side is V, which is calculated as 18, and then plus the area of this rectangle. So this here is 25 minus 15, which is 10. So your one side is 10 of this rectangle, and the other side, this one is 12. So 10 times 12. So let's calculate this. This is 15 by 2 into 18 plus 12 would be 20, 30. And then plus 10 times 12 is 120. Uh, then I can write this as 15 times 3 is 45, and then 104. 50 by 2 plus 120. So 450 by 2 would be 2. Two twos are 4, and then 110, 225. 225 plus 120. And then if you add them together, 200, 300, 320, 345. So your distance traveled is 345 meters. Question number 19 is a pentagon has four angles of 2x degree and one angle of x degree. Calculate the value of x. So pentagon has five sides, so five angles. So let me draw this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So you have these five angles. You're given that four of them are 2x and one of them is x. So you can calculate the sum of all the angles of a pentagon. You know that the formula to find the sum of all the angles of any uh, polygon is n minus 2 into 180, right? Where n is the number of sides. So sum of all angles of pentagon would be equals to n minus 2 into 180. So I can write this sum in terms of x because I know that four angles are 2x. So 4 times 2x plus one angle is x. And a pentagon has how many sides? 5. So this becomes 5 minus 2 into 180. So then I can solve this equation for x. So 4 times 2 is 8x. I'll continue here. And then plus x. N minus 2, 5 minus 2 would be 3. So this would be equals to 3 into 180. 8x plus x would be 9x into 3 into 180. And then x would be equals to 3 into 180 divided by 9. So I can cancel this. 9 ones are 9. 9 twos are 18, and then 20. And 20 times 3 would be 60. So x would be 60. This is 0. So part B is ABCD and EBCF are parts of two identical regular n-sided polygons. So this here A, B, oh, let me draw this neatly. So A, B, this line here C, and then this line here D. So this is some part of a n-sided polygon. So the rest of the polygon is up there, which is missing. And then the other polygon is this one in red, E, B, C, F, and the rest of the polygon is down there. So the two polygons are joined together along this edge BC. Angle DCF is given as 30 degree. Calculate the value of n. So since these are identical and then regular n-sided polygons, that means each angle, so let's take the blue polygon ABCD. If this angle is x, then this angle would be x as well, because it's a regular polygon, which means all the angles of the polygon are equal. And since these are identical polygons, both ABCD and EBCF are identical, that means the angles of this polygon in red are also x degree, since it's also a regular polygon and identical to the blue one, so the angles would be x as well, right? So the two polygons are joined together along edge BC and angle DCF is equals to, calculate the value of n. So now I can actually find this value of x first, and then to calculate n, I'll use the same formula again. So if I can calculate this one angle x, if I know the value of x, I can simply multiply this x by n to get the sum of all angles, because all angles of this polygon are x degrees. And then I can also equate it to the other equation, this one that I used up here, to calculate the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. So let's find the value of x. I know that this full angle is 360, so x plus 30 should be equal to 360 degrees, right? So 2x should be equals to 360 minus 30. So 2x becomes equals to 330, and this gives me x as 165. So now I can write sum of all angles for this polygon here. All angles equals to n minus 2 into 180, which is the same formula here that I used. So I can write this sum of all angles as 165 times n, because each angle is 165 degrees and there are n such angles because there are n sides. So 165 times n would give me sum of all angles, which is equals to this n minus 2 into 180. Now I can solve this equation and find the value of n. So 165n equals to 180n minus 360. So if I bring 180 here, I get 165n minus 180 equals to 360. This will give me minus 15n. So sorry, this is minus 360. Minus 15n equals to minus 360. And then n would be minus 360 divided by minus 15. So this will be 15 times 2 is 30, and then 60 and 24, and minus cancel out here. So n equals to 24. So both these polygons have 24 sides, and since they are regular polygons, all sides and all angles are equal, and each angle is 165 degree, which is x here. So and then we use that to find the value of n. So there are n equals to 24. So question number 20 is write 54 as the product of its prime factors. So let's find the prime factors of 54. So this is even, so it's divided by 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 114, 7. 27 is divisible by 3, so 3 times 9, and then again by 3, 3 times 3, and then again by 3 until we get the 1. So this can be written as 2 into 3 to the power 1, 2, 3. So 3 power 3. So this will be 3 power 3. Find the smallest possible integer m such that 54 times m is a cube number. So you know that 54m should be a cube number. That means if I take the cube root of 54m, I should get a whole number. I should not get a decimal. So I know that 54 can be written as this. So 54 equals to 2 into 3 power 3. And how can I write? So I need to multiply this by m, and here I'll multiply by m. So I need to multiply by m to make this a perfect cube. So how do I make a perfect cube? All the prime factors should have power of 3, right? So this 3 already has power of 3. This 2 has power 1. So what do I need to do? So what should be the value of m such that if I multiply m by this uh, 2, I should get 2 power 3. So that means 2 into m should be equals to 2 power 3. So this gives me m equals to 2 power 3 divided by 2, which is 2 power 2, which is equals to 4. So your answer is 4. So if I multiply 54 by 4, that means I will be multiplying 2 power 1 into 3 power 3 by 4. And since 4 is 2 squared essentially, so I can write this as 2 power 1, 3 cube, and 2 power 2. And then since I'm multiplying, I will add the powers. So this will give me 2 cube into 3 cube. Now this is a perfect cube. If I take the cube root of this, both these 3 and 3 will cancel out and I will get an answer 6. So 54 times 4, which is m, and if I take the cube root, my answer should be 6. So how did we solve this? We have to make sure that all the prime factors have power 3 to have a perfect cube. So 3 already had the power 3. I only needed to make sure I multiply by a number such that this 2 also gets a power of 3. So this was power 1, so I have to multiply it by 2 squared so that the powers add up and this becomes 2 cube as well. So it became 2 cube here. So that makes it a perfect cube. So you have to multiply 54 by 4. So your value of m is 4. Part B is find the value of k in each of the following. So this is 3 power k. That means I need 3 here in the base value as well so that I can compare the powers directly. So I know that 27 can be written as 3 cube, and then I have to write the square root that is already there, and this should equals to 3 power k. And I know that square root is what? 1 over power 1 over 2. So this can be written as 3 cube power 1 over 2 equals to 3 power k. And if I bring the power in, they will be multiplied. So 3 power 3 over 2 would be equal to 3 power k. Now I have the bases same. Both are 3 here. I can equate the powers directly. So k should be equal to 3 by 2 here. So k equals to 3 over 2. Part 2 is 1 over 4 power negative 3 equals to 2 power k. So since this is in terms of the base here is 2, I need to make the base on this side as equal to 2 as well. So 1 over 4 power negative 3 equals to 2 power k. If I bring this 4 up, I can change the power to positive 3. So 4 cube equals to 2 power k. And I know that I can write 4 as 2 squared. So 2 squared whole power this cube is equals to 2 power k. And this gives me, if I bring this 3 in, the powers multiply. So 2 power 6 equals to 2 power k. Now I have the same values in the base, so k equals to 6. Question number 21 is OACB is a parallelogram. So this shape is a parallelogram. O is given by this vector A. OB is given by this vector B. P and Q are points on OC such that OP, so this length and this length PQ and this length QC are equal. So OP is equals to PQ is equals to QC. The lengths are same. Express as simply as possible in terms of A and B, the length OP. So this is the length OP that we need to, this is the vector that we need to calculate OP in terms of A and B. So this is A, this is B. So I can see here that this length OP is 1/3 of this full length OC, because all these three are equal. So this is one part of this full length which is divided into three equal parts. So I can write OP is equals to 1 by 3 OC. And what is OC? Since this is the parallelogram, if this vector is A here, this is also A. So if I start with O and I end up at C, I go B vector and then A vector in this direction. So my OC can be written as 1 by 3 here, and then OC can be written as B plus A. So using the head to tail rule, you start with O, you go in this direction, and then you go in this direction, which is your OC, this direction. So 1/3 A plus B. So this will be your answer, A plus B over 3. So your OP can be written as A plus B over 3. Part 2 is you have to find BP. So let me quickly erase this. So BP is which vector? BP is this, right? So if my vector B is in, so BP is this, I can get to, I can calculate BP if I do BO plus OP. So BP can be written as BO plus OP, plus OP will give me BP. So since this is B, OB is B, then BO will be negative B. So BO will be negative B plus, you have already calculated OP in the previous part, which was A plus B by 3. So if I take the LCM, my LCM would be 3. So your LCM will be 3 here, and then I'll multiply 3 in the numerator as well. So I get minus 3B plus A plus B, and this will be equals to minus 3B plus B would be minus 2B plus A over 3. So your answer is minus 2B plus A over 3. Show that the triangles OAQ and CBP are congruent. So let me erase this and mark the triangles. So the first one is OAQ. OAQ. So this triangle OAQ, and the other one is CBP. CBP would be this one, CBP. So this one right here would be CBP. So now you have to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So if we look at this shape right off the bat, we can see that this length here and this length here are equal, because this is a parallelogram. So these two sides, opposite sides of a parallelogram, are equal. So the first would be OA equals to BC in length, because they are opposite sides of parallelogram. So this length OA and this length BC is equal. And then we can also see that this length OQ here and this length PC, sorry, let me mark this in green. So this length PC, 1 second. So this length So this length PC is also equal because you're given that this length are equal, and this length are these three lengths are equal. So OQ is 2/3 of OC, and PQ is PC is also 2/3 of AC. So let me write it here. OQ. So this length here marked in blue, OQ equals to this length marked in green, which is starting at P and ending at C. This length PC is equals to 2/3 of OC, because you're given that this length is divided into three equal parts, and both the blue triangle and the green triangle get two of these three parts. So this length is also equal. So now we have established that length OA, BC are equal, length OQ and PC are equal. And then, since this is a parallelogram, this means this line and this line are parallel. And if I look at this angle here, angle AOP and angle PCB or QCB here, these two angles are equal because they are alternate angles of two parallel lines which are being intersected by this line here. So these are alternate angles, and we know that alternate angles of two parallel lines are equal. So you can say that angle AOQ AOQ is equals to angle PCB because alternate angles of parallel lines. How do we know these are parallel lines? Because this is a parallelogram and opposite sides are parallel. So these red angles are equal. So now we can use the SAS property where angle and the two corresponding sides that make up this angle of two triangles are equal. So we know that this side and this side are equal, this side and this side are equal, and the angle in between is also equal. So using SAS property, uh, triangle OAQ and let me write it here. Triangle CBPR congruent. So we have this angle and the two sides that make up this angle and two sides that make up this angle. Both of these triangles, these angles and these two sides are equal, so they are congruent by using the SAS property, two sides and one angle. Two sides and the angle in between them specifically. So let's move on to the next question. So question 22 is, a container is made out of thin material in the shape of a cuboid with an open top. The container has length 15, width 8 centimeter. The volume of the container is 720 centimeter cube. Calculate the height h centimeter of the container. So we know that volume is equals to length into width. Oops. Length into width into height. So you're given the volume as 720, and then your length is 15, your width is 8, and your height is h. And this gives you h equals to 720 divided by 15 times 8. So I can simplify this. I can divide by 5. 5 threes are 15, 5 ones are 5, 222, 420, 220, and then 45. And let me make sure I get that right. 5 ones are 5, 2 remaining 22, 5 fours are 20, and then 2 again. Oh, sorry, this should be 4. I did the division wrong here. So this is actually 4. And 144 is divisible by 3, so 3 times 1 3 fours are 12, 224, and 8. And then you get 48 over 8, and 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 6 is 48. So you get 6. So your height h is 6 centimeter. Calculate the surface area of the outside of the container. So your surface area would be a pair of sides. So this side here on the right, and then on the left as well. And this green side is the bottom. And then there will be one on the back, this blue side, and then one on the front, this blue side. Remember that the top is open, so that's not included in the surface area. So your surface area, uh, oh wait, so your surface area would be, so let's start with the red ones, the right side and the left side. So what's the length is 8 and width is h. So 2 times 8 into h, which is 6. So 8 times 6 gives you this right side of this container. And since there are two identical sides, so I just multiplied this area with 2. So plus, let's look at this. Let me this erase this and let's look at them one by one so it's a little clear. So let's look at this front side here. This side, what's the area of this side? 15, and then this is h. So 2 times 15 into h, which is 6. Why 2 times? Because this is the front and this is the back here as well. So this gives you the front and back. Now let's look at the bottom. So this is your bottom here. And this is represented by 15 here and then 8 here. So this is 15 times 8, and I do not multiply it by 2 because the top is open. So this is the top is open, so that will not be included in the surface area of this container. So these are all the sides. And then we can calculate. So 8 times 6 is 48. So you get 2 times 48 plus 15 times 6 is 33 carry 90 plus 2 times 90 plus 15 times 8 is 40. 8 ones are 8, 4, 12, 120. And then 48 times 2 will be 96 plus 90 times 2 is 180, and then plus 120. So if you add these three, 100, 200, 100, 200, then 80 plus 20 is another 100, which is gives me 300, and then 396. So this is 396 centimeter cube. Part C is liquid is poured into the container. The liquid fills 60% of the container. So let's say the liquid fills it up till here. So you have a liquid that fills up this container up till this point. Let's call this height y. The liquid fills 60% of the container. So calculate the height of the liquid in the container. So 60% means if the total volume of the container is 720 here, so the volume of liquid will be 60%, 60 over 100 of this 720, 720. So this 0 cancels out, this 0 cancels out with this. So 72 times 6 would be 6 twos are 12, 1 carry, 7 sixes are 42, 43, 432. The volume of liquid is 432. And we know that the volume is given by length into width into height. Our height is y in this case. So I can write 432 equals to 15 times 8 times y. And then this gives me y equals to 432 over 15 times 8. So I can actually cancel out 8 times 1 is 8, and then 8 times 5 is 43, 32, 8 times 4 is 32. So I get 54 by 15, and this is divisible by 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1, 224, 18. So you get 18 over 5 centimeter as your height. If you want, you can write this in decimal as well. So 5 threes are 15, 3 remainder decimals. I bring this 0 down, and this is 6. So, so this is 30 here, and then 6 times 30 minus, and then you get 0. So your answer is 3.6 centimeter. So this height of the liquid, after it has filled 60% of this container, this height would be 3.6 centimeter. Question number 23 is solve this equation. So you have 7x. So if I cross multiply and take this to the other side, I get 7x equals to 3 times 4 minus 3x. So 7x would equals to 4 threes are 12. 3 times 3 is minus 9x here. So I can bring this 9x to this side. So 7x plus 9x equals to 12. 9 plus 7 will give me 16x equals to 12, and then x equals to 12 over 16. And then I can divide them by 4. 4 threes are 12, 4 fours are 16. So 3 over 4. So part B is simplify fully. 4x squared minus 9 over 2x squared minus 13x plus 15. So I can factorize both the numerator and the denominator. So I can, for the numerator, I'll use this property: a square minus b square equals to a plus b times a minus b. So 4x squared can be written as 2x whole squared minus 9 can be written as 3 squared. And then for the denominator, I'll factorize. So I'll multiply 15 by 2, which is 30. So 15 into 2 equals to 30. And since it is positive 30, both have positive sign. Plus 15 multiplied by plus 2 is positive 30. So now I have to find factors of 30 that sum up to minus 13. So factors of 30 that sum up to minus 13 are minus 10 and minus 3. So if you multiply them, you get 30. But if you add them, you get minus 13. So that's how you'll factorize this. So I can write 2x squared, and then I can write this minus 13x as minus 10x minus 3x, and then this plus 15. So in the numerator, I will say this is a square minus b square. So this becomes 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. And then I can take 2x common here in the denominator. This will leave me with x minus 5, and then I can take minus 3 common here, and this will leave me x and minus 5, because this is minus, this is plus here, so this will turn minus as well. So minus 5, and then I can take x minus 5 as common, so this will give me 2x plus 3 into 2x minus 3 over 2x minus 3 into x minus 5. So 2x minus 3 and 2x minus 3 cancel out. So I will get 2x plus 3 over x minus 5. So this is the simplified form of this. So this is the question number 24. So a bag contains n balls. 3 of the balls are white. 2 balls are taken from the bag at random without replacement. That means you pick the first one and then you do not put it back. You just pick another one. So you have to complete the tree diagram here. So there are n balls you're given here, and then 3 of the balls are white. So that means the probability of getting white the first time is 3 by n. So what is the probability of getting not white? So if there are n total balls, 3 are white, then how many are non-white? N minus 3, right? The rest of them are non-white. So what would be the probability of getting a not white ball? How many are there? N minus 3 are not white out of the total, which are n. And then if you pick the second ball, also white, that means you have 2 whites remaining because you've already picked a white the first time. So 3 minus 1, 2. And after you picked one ball, your total remaining are n minus 1. So you get 2 over n minus 1. So what if you pick the white one? What is the probability of getting the white? Not white, sorry. What is the probability of getting not white second time? So the number of not whites haven't changed. They are still n minus 3 because your first pick was white. So this is still n minus 3 which are in the bag that are not white. And how many are total in the bag now? N were there at the start. You picked one, so the remaining are n minus 1. And coming down here, so you picked a not white one the first time. What is the probability of getting the white the second time? You have 3 whites that were there at the start and you didn't pick a white one, so you still have 3, but your total has decreased by 1 since you picked one wall. So this is n minus 1. So what is the probability of getting the not white the second time if your first one was not white? So if you had n minus 3 not whites at the start, after you pick not white the first time, remaining not white equals to, so you started with n minus 3 and then you picked 1, so you subtract 1. So n minus 3 minus 1 will be equal to n minus 4. So you had n minus probability of picking not white the first time, n minus 3 over n. Then you picked not white, so the remaining are n minus 3 minus 1, which is n minus 4. So let me just directly write n minus 4 here. So this is n minus 4. So these are the remaining non-white balls. And how many total are remaining? Initially you had n, but you picked 1, so the total remaining are n minus 1 here. So this is how you will fill up this tree diagram. Part B is find the probability, the probability that both balls are white is 1 by 15. Show that n squared minus n minus 90 equals to 0. So how do I get both whites? If I go there and then I go there. So that is how I end up both whites the first time and the second time. There's no other case where I will end up with both white balls. So probability of white the first time and the white second time, white and white. What is the probability of white and white? It is 3 by n times, so 3 over n multiplied by 2 over n minus 1, 2 over n minus 1. And you're given that this probability is 1 by 15. So I can substitute here 1 by 15 equals to 3 by n into 2 over n minus 1. Now I have to simplify this equation and show that it reduces to this form here. So let me just continue it up here. So 1 by 15 equals to, so if I multiply these two terms, I get, multiply the numerators, 3 times 2 is 6 over n times n minus 1, n times n minus 1. Now if I cross multiply here and here, I multiply this by 1, so this becomes n minus into n minus 1, n into n minus 1 equals to 15 times 6. 15 times 6. So if I open the brackets, I get n squared minus n equals to 15 times 6 is 90. So to make it look like this, I will take this 90 to the other side. So this becomes n squared minus n minus 90 equals to 0. So we have shown that the probability of getting both white balls, white the first time and white the second time, can be written as n squared minus n minus 90 equals to 0. And part C is find the value of n. So you have this quadratic equation that we can solve, n minus 90 equals to 0. So to solve this, I will multiply this minus 90 with the coefficient here, which is 1. So minus 90 times 1 is, so minus 90 times 1 equals to minus 90. So since this is minus, I need to find two factors of 90 that if I subtract them, I should get minus 1 here. So the two factors are 10 and 9. So if I have negative 10 and positive 9, if I multiply them, what do I get? Minus 90. And if I add them, minus 10 plus 9 is minus 1, which is exactly what I want. So I can write this as n squared minus 10n plus 9n minus 90 equals to 0. And then this becomes n into n minus 10 plus 9. I can take 9 common, and this becomes n minus 10 equals to 0. So this becomes n minus 10 into n plus 9 equals to 0. This gives me n minus 10 equals to 0, or n plus 9 equals to 0. And this gives me n equals to 10, and this gives me n equals to minus 9. And minus 9 is not applicable. You can reject this value because what is n? N is the number of balls. So you cannot have minus 9 balls in the bag. So 10 is your value. N equals to 10. So you had 10. So you had 10 balls in the bag. So this is the end of the paper. This was paper 1, May June 2017, and this was the second variant of the paper.